So let us start with today's class. Today's class is on induced EMF. Last class we were discussing the Lenz's law and Fleming's right hand rule. So now let us see what is induced EMF. So when the flux linking with a conductor or a coil changes and EMF is induced in it, this is known as Faraday's law of electromagnetic induction, right? So if there is a change in the flux in a conductor, then EMF will be induced. This change in the flux linkage can be obtained in the following two ways. So last class we have seen that d phi by dt will be responsible for the production of the EMF, right? So the magnitude is n d phi by dt, and if you put a negative sign, then it is in accordance with the Lenz's law that will give you the direction. Now, how do the change in the flux linkage is obtained, and based on this, what are the types of the induced EMF that we are going to see? So the first induced EMF that we are going to discuss is known as dynamically induced EMF. So the first induced EMF that we are going to discuss is dynamically induced EMF. The meaning is that if either of them, which the moving the conductor and keeping the magnetic field stationary. So you are keeping one time something stationary. What is that? The magnetic field. And what you are moving? The conductor. Or if you are moving the magnetic field and keep the conductor stationary, then in such way the conductor cut across the magnetic field. As in the case of DC and AC generators, this EMF is known as dynamically induced EMF. So here you can understand that dynamically induced EMF is the principle of DC generator or AC generator. So in this case, either you can move the conductor, keep the magnetic field constant, or move the magnetic field and keep the conductor constant, or means not moving, stay. That is known as dynamically induced EMF. The second EMF is known as statically induced EMF. So in this case, the flux linkage changing with the coil or conductor without moving either the coil or the field system. So both coil as well as field are stationary in this case. Then what is changing to change the flux linkage? The change of the flux produced by the field system linking with the coil is obtained by the change of the current in the field system, that is a solenoid, as in transformer. This EMF is known as statically induced EMF. So you have seen the dynamically induced EMF, and other induced EMF is statically induced EMF. Both way you are trying to produce an EMF which is proportional to the rate of the change of the flux. Now this d phi by dt can be produced either by moving the conductor or the magnetic field. If one is moving and other is constant, then it is known as dynamically induced EMF. So this dynamically induced EMF is the governing principle for DC generators and AC generators. In the second case, if you see, both the flux as well as the coil are keeping constant, but the current is changing. So you are changing the current. So if you are changing the current, then the EMF that is produced is known as statically induced EMF. So in this case, the governing principle is of transformer. So this is the principle for the transformer, and this is the principle for AC or DC generator. So here you will see that statically induced EMF will give rise to mutually induced EMF, because both coils are not linked with magnetically linked, but not conductively linked. So that we will see in case of the transformer. Now let us look into the dynamically induced EMF first. So by either moving the conductor, keeping the magnetic field system stationary, or moving the field system, keeping the conductor stationary, so that the flux is cut by the conductor, the EMF thus induced in the conductor is called dynamically induced EMF. So this is the definition of dynamically induced EMF. You can either move the conductor keeping the magnetic field stationary, or move the field keeping the this conductor stationary. So both way you can induce an EMF which is known as dynamically induced EMF. Now here, if we look into the one of the diagram, then the diagram A, that is figure A, conductor is moving in a uniform magnetic field perpendicular to each other. So here the field is perpendicular and uniform, whereas the conductor is moving with a velocity v. So what is the velocity with which the conductor is moving? So v. Now conductor is moving through a distance dx. So if a conductor is moving through a distance dx, then the total area that is swept by the conductor is being shown in this figure. So this is the area with which the conductor cuts the magnetic field of length dx, and the total length of the conductor is L. Then conductor is moving with an angle theta with the field. Now the direction of the field with respect to the velocity of the conductor is theta, then in the horizontal direction it is v sine theta, because here you have the field direction. This is the conductor which is moving with the velocity v, and theta is the direction of the moving conductor with respect to the field. Then v sine theta is the horizontal component of the field. Then what is the area swept by the conductor? So area swept by the conductor A is basically L, that is the length of the conductor, into dx. Then the flux set up by the conductor phi is basically B into A, that is magnetic flux density into the area of the conductor. And if you substitute the area to be L dx here, then you are getting BL into dx, right? Now we know that EMF is basically flux cut by time. So put the value of the flux, that is BL dx, that you have got, and dt you are putting it here with respect to time, and we know that the rate of change of the distance will give you the velocity. So velocity will be substituted here. So BLV you are getting for the induced EMF. Now if the conductor is moving at an angle theta with the direction of the magnetic field at a velocity v meter per second. So we have seen that conductor is moving with the velocity v at an angle of theta with respect to the field. Then for a small distance covered by the conductor in that direction dx in a time dt second, we can have a component which is dx sine theta. So the component of the distance perpendicular to the magnetic field will produce an EMF dx sine theta. So in this case, the area swept by the conductor, which was given by L dx, you can substitute as A equal to L into dx sine theta, whereas dx sine theta is basically the component of the distance perpendicular to the magnetic field. Now in this case, if you obtain the flux which is B into A, similarly whatever we have done here, you substitute the value of the magnetic flux dense area whatever you have got here, then you will get BL dx sine theta. Then the induced EMF that you are getting is basically BL dx sine theta by dt that you have, then it is equal to BLV sine theta. So here you are getting a voltage EMF BLV when you have not taken the direction into account. Here you have taken the direction into account. So the induced EMF is BLV sine theta. So we have seen the dynamically induced EMF. In this case, the induced EMF is BLV sine theta, and in the dynamically induced EMF, you know that something has to move and something has to be stationary. So either the field will be moving and conductor will be stationary, or the conductor will be moving and field will be stationary, any of that. Then in that case the EMF will be induced, which has a magnitude of BLV sine theta. Now statically induced EMF, let us see. So something is static. What are the static? So both coil and magnetic field system are static in this case. They are not rotating. Only thing is changing is basically the current. So current is changing, so the EMF that is produced is known as statically induced EMF. The statically induced EMF may be either the self-induced EMF or the mutually induced EMF. So again, you can divide the statically induced EMF into two parts. One is known as self-induced EMF, or other is known as mutually induced EMF. So first we will see what is self-induced EMF. So let us take a flux produced by a coil linking with its own turn. So you are taking a coil which is producing a flux and it is linking with its own turn. The conductor over which the coil are wound is having n turns of the conductor. Now it is connected with a battery and there is a switch, and this resistance, variable resistance, can vary the current that is required to produce the flux phi in the conductor or the coil. Then the EMF induced in a coil due to the change of the flux produced by it linking with its own turn. So when the number of turns of the coil is n number of turns and it is wound on a conductor, then EMF induced in a coil is due to the change of the flux produced by its own linking. Then in this case, the direction of the induced EMF is to oppose the cause which produce it, which we have discussed in the last lecture also, Lenz's law, that is the change of the current in the coil. So here the current is the cause. Due to this cause, due to the change in the current, you are basically producing the flux. And Lenz's law states that the direction of the induced EMF will oppose the cause. So what is the cause? The cause is the current. So current has to oppose. Now, since the rate of change of the flux linking with the coil depends upon the rate of the change of the current in the coil, therefore the magnitude of self-induced EMF is directly proportional to the rate of the change of the current in the coil. So in this case, E is equal to d phi by dt, that is the rate of the change of the flux, is proportional to basically what is the current that is changing in the coil. So di by dt. So here nothing is rotating. There is no rotation of or changing of any movement of any parts. Only there is a change in the current. This current is being controlled with the help of a variable resistance. So the current can increase or decrease with respect to time. Then what will happen? Due to the change in the current, you will get an EMF. Okay. Now you understood that EMF is directly proportional to the rate of change of the current di by dt, right? So the magnitude of self-induced EMF is directly proportional to the rate of the change of the current in the coil, and this constant of proportionality can be removed with a constant known as L. Now you have understood that this constant of proportionality is called self-inductance or coefficient of self-inductance or inductance of the coil. So if you have any coil, then the constant of proportionality is L, which is known as the self-inductance or coefficient of self-inductance or inductance of the coil. Unit you know it is in Henry. Then the EMF induced will be E equal to L di by dt, whereas d phi by dt, that is the rate of the change of the flux, is directly proportional to di by dt, that is rate of change of the current. That is the reason EMF is directly proportional to di by dt, and the constant of proportionality is removed with a constant which is the inductance of the coil. So this we have discussed for statically induced EMF, self-induced EMF. The other component of the statically induced EMF is basically mutually induced EMF. So that we are going to see. Now in this case there are two coils, coil A and coil B. If you remember, in the previous case you were having only one coil. Now you will be having two coils, coil A and coil B, and flux will be produced by coil A. So if there is a coil A, so here you can see there is a coil A which is connected with a source of a battery, and there is a resistance, variable resistance, which is controlling the current or the source current for the coil A. So coil A is being connected with the source of the battery, and here N1 is the number of turns of the coil for coil A. So what will happen, that due to the changing of the current, the EMF will be induced, or the flux will be induced due to the N1 number of turns, and this will be induced in this particular core. And the same core is basically linked with the other coil which is having N2 number of turns, and it is connected with a galvanometer. So here in mutually induced EMF, you can see that two coils are there, coil A and coil B, whereas the flux is produced in one of the coil due to the current I, which is connected with a source of a battery. So EMF induced in a coil due to change of the flux produced by another neighboring coil linking with it. So there are two coils, coil 1 and coil 2, and both coil 1 and coil 2 are basically linked with the same magnetic circuit, or the core we can say. Then if you are connecting with a source of EMF in coil 1, so this is coil 1, then what will happen? The flux that is produced in the core, this flux, since both the coil are inductively coupled, so here the flux links with the coil number 2. So coil number 2, if the flux links, then there will be a EMF produced in the coil number 2. So the galvanometer will show a deflection if there is a connection with coil number 2. Although the source of voltage is connected to the coil number 1, you will see that there is a voltage V2. So if you take this one V1, you will get V2. Now if you connect this one with a load, so if you connect this one with a load, it means the circuit is complete. So a current I2 will flow in the circuit. So this is known as mutually induced EMF, which we are going to see in detail. So in this case, the EMF produced EM, that is the maximum EMF, is equal to dI1 by dt. So I1 is the current that is there for the coil A. Then the constant of proportionality in this case is not the self-inductance. So in the previous case we have L, we have used L, that is the self-inductance. We will use the constant of proportionality as M, that is the mutual inductance or coefficient of mutual inductance. Now what will happen? Now what will happen? The coil, this current which is responsible for production of the flux here phi, this will linked with this coil, and then this will link with this another coil, and then a EMF will be produced in this galvanometer. So this discussion we were doing for the induced EMF, self and mutual, and statically and dynamically induced EMF.